This is Chris, and 1 month ago, he was throwing 87 miles an hour. Now he sits in the low 90s and has touched 92 miles an hour. So today, my co-founder and I are gonna break down exactly what he did to gain 5 miles an hour within 1 month. Now, I wanna be fully transparent. Gaining 5 miles an hour within 1 month is not normal, even for the guys inside the Pitcher Lab. Yet we've had multiple athletes do something similar by following the exact steps I'm about to show you in this video. So I'm not gonna waste your time, let's get straight into it. Chris made a huge jump going from 87 to 92 miles an hour just in the space of 1 month because of this. Now, I want you to visualize it like this. For Chris, these are progress bars, okay, right? If you're playing like a video game and you have like stats, right? These will be your stats. And this one for him is mechanics, and this one is the engine. Okay, now why I say mechanics and engine is because we view this as a two-part problem, right? To increase pitching velocity, you need to optimize your mechanics and you also have to build an engine. If you get those two right, then you're gonna throw really, really hard. He has what we call a V12 engine. He had a 35 plus vertical jump. He was able to sprint just as fast as some of the quickest outfielders in the MLB, and he could lift the house, right? He could lift a lot of weight. But he was only throwing 87 miles an hour, which was extremely low for the type of engine that he had. And so he was really lacking on the mechanics side and how he moved on the mound. And so for Chris, when we were able to get his mechanics from here more till here, right? And this only took 1 month because for him, he only had 2 major focuses on the mechanical side that he had to work on. And we were able to make huge amounts of progress in that 1 month. When we got this up, now the output is a huge velocity gain of 5 miles an hour. So with Chris, the first thing that we worked on with him was how well his spine moved in his pitching delivery. And Albertus is going to explain exactly what we did to help him fix that.
Yeah, so Chris came to us and he had trained just about everywhere. You know, he had been searching for answers everywhere that he could possibly get them. And immediately I noticed a couple mechanical flaws in his delivery that I was like, how's nobody pointed these out? How's nobody helped him fix these? This is clearly a potential 100 mile per hour thrower, and yet he's sitting in the mid 80s, you know. So the first thing that I had him start to work on was, hey, we need to rebuild your spinal impulses because right now you're just getting stuck. Chris was really dumping into early extension across his whole spine. He didn't have any core stability. He didn't understand how to keep his pelvis and basically his rib cage connected, as I like to refer to it. Teaching him how to use all 3 planes of his spine, right? Teaching him how to finally successfully move his spine like a wave rather than just this stick stuck in the ground that's rotating, right? It became more of like a catapult instead of this. If we think of properly using the spine, we're trying to use the hip rotation to start the extension of the spine, and we don't want to go into early extension with the spine. If we go into early extension with the spine, what happens is when the hips go to rotate, we're already in extension, and so it becomes more of this rotational throw, which typically causes bad deceleration patterns because to compensate for the missed range of motion from the extension and flexion of the spine, the person will continuously rotate through the zone because they don't have enough room to decelerate. And this leads to a lot of issues for quite a lot of people. Versus when our spine's good, you need to realize that we have connections from underneath our rib cage down to our pelvis. And so when the hip goes to fire the spine, we want the spine to slowly work into extension as we're starting the rotation as well. Okay, and that's a good spine. Versus just being stuck and rotating, it's more of like this. You see how it's like a whip or a wave of energy? It's not just somebody getting stuck and stiffly rotating through a motion. It's utilizing all of our pelvis and vertebrae to achieve a considerably different result.
Now, before we get on to the second mechanical fix that we made with Chris. If you're someone who thinks that you might be a guy who can make elite gains just like this, and you just want to know what exactly to do, you can book a call below and I can see if that's the case for you. Or if you just want help with your mechanics, I'd love to do that for you as well. So the second thing we helped Chris with was eliminating his quad dominance. And again, Alberto will explain exactly what this is and how we were able to fix it.
So when Chris was quad dominant loading, he'd fall forward, right? He'd fall forward, and this would force his pelvis back, rather than when he could load his weight more neutral, then he was able to tuck the pelvis and keep the core actually engaged so that he could use his spine properly. So that was the issue with him being a quad dominant thrower for a little bit, was I told him to load his core and then he'd just fall forward because he tried to load it like this rather than this. You know, you're more sitting backwards, kind of into your midfoot or part of your heel to properly load into your hips, back leg, center of mass, whatever you guys want to refer to it in this case scenario. And so the more quad dominant you get, the more he'd fall over, the more the pelvis would tuck backwards, the more he'd lose actual core tension, and then the less he'd be able to use the spine because he was just stuck in early extension.
Now, the last thing is consistency with what you are working on. Now, I want you to visualize it just like this. Okay, so most players are right here. They're doing this, right? But some of the best players and the guys who get the best results are these guys. Now, all of these arrows are attention, right? And so every single one of these arrows for a pitcher is something different that you're working on. Okay, so for a pitcher, right, this could be, all right, I'm working on my spine. I'm working on my back leg. Oh, I also want to throw a nasty sweeper. So that's what I'm focusing on and putting attention on as well. Oh, you know, my lead leg block as well. You know, and there's multiple things that you're putting attention on, right? And you're just splitting your focus. You're just like, one day you're thinking about the spine, and then the next day you're thinking about the back leg, and then the next day you're thinking about how to throw a nasty sweeper, right? And then the next day you're thinking about the lead leg block. This is how Chris was as well at the beginning. We had to tell him that he has to stick with one thing to make a lot of progress. And this is what this is, right? For about 3 months, his only focus was this one mechanical change that we knew will get him a significant amount of results.
Within the first week of me giving Chris the cues that he needed to work on, he hit his first 90 ever. You know, so he has a 3 mile per hour jump in 1 week. He starts messaging me, "What now? What now?" And it's like, dude, the same thing. What do you mean, what now, you know? I was like, I know you just had this 3 mile per hour jump and you're already ready to go on to the next thing, dude. But you can look at your mechanics right now and see that as you progressively get more fatigued, your patterns start to shift back to the patterns that we just got away from, okay? So clearly you're not adapted enough to continue to move like that throughout the whole spectrum of you being fresh and fatigued, right? And that's a really important thing to look for when developing these athletes is how long does he maintain it through a session? And at what point does he lose it through the session? And that helps tell you, okay, this guy is X amount adapted. But Chris just wanted to move on already. And I was like, look, dude, go get a pizza, get yourself some chocolate milk, celebrate. But you need to realize we've got another 5 to 6 weeks of working on this before you're even remotely close to adapted. And you're going to continue to have velocity jumps as you just get more adapted to this level of output and consistently moving like this. And at first, you could tell that he was not very receptive of it. He didn't really believe that. But then it became, okay, coach, I'm going to lock in on it. And I was like, yes. Now this guy's actually going to throw 100 one day. So he started locking in on it, and then boom, next week 91. And then boom, next week 92.
All right, so here's the last thing I've got for you. Most people are gonna watch this video and the multiple videos that are on this channel pretty much do nothing Most players are going to wait for the best time to try and advance their pitching career, or the best time to where, I feel ready to go and get serious on my baseball career. And I'm here to tell you that that time is now. We're in the most competitive time of baseball right now, and there is no time to wait. And if you don't know what to be doing to get better, that's why we are here, right? You can book a call below, first link in the description, and we'll be able to help you out as much as possible. I have a sweet spot for my YouTube audience because I feel like we have the best relationship, right? I'm talking on these videos for 20, 30 minutes, and I'm giving out my best information on this channel. Now I want to make a video of a guy who came right through this channel and made a transformation just like Chris or the multiple guys that we've been able to transform. So if you believe in yourself to get to a high level, no matter what level you're at right now, then I'd love to talk to you, and I'll see you there.